Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and for the last 7 days, I've been driving the 2025 Honda Odyssey Elite. Up front is a 3.5 liter V6, and down below is a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be making this video because, as I mentioned, I've been driving this for the last 7 days. I also had a loan for the Volkswagen ID Buzz just before this, so that is the newest, hottest minivan, and this is actually the most aged minivan on the market. And so today, we're going to be talking about why that's actually a very good thing. But if you would like to submit your vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you would like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 3.5 liter V6 under the hood. Well, that is the first starting point as to what makes this van so good. The J series from Honda, which this is a J35 engine, has been around for as long as I've been alive. And so, they seem to have worked most, if not all, of the issues out. It's a very solid power plant. It's a very reliable power plant. We still see it in the Honda Passport. We still see it in the Honda Ridgeline. And it's fantastic. It sounds good. It works well. No hybridization to go wrong. No batteries to worry about. It's just great. Like I said, paired to it is a 10-speed automatic, and they use it again in the Pilot, so it's definitely earned its keep. Last but not least, the Honda Odyssey is front-wheel drive, and this is going to be one of the very few drawbacks because the Sienna, Pacifica, and ID Buzz all feature all-wheel drive as an option. Honda does not offer that. How does it feel to drive the Honda Odyssey? It drives like a van. It's easy to see out of, it's easy to get in and out of, and it's easy to drive. This has to be good for all different body types and backgrounds. I would trust my grandma to drive this as much as I would trust a youngster with a learner's permit. And that's always been the glory of minivans, not only the Odyssey, but others abroad. The ride quality is fine. It is a little bit more truck-like than sedan-like, but I would argue that this has more cargo space than a truck, so I'll take the ride quality as it is. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a physical and digital gauge. Off to the right is my physical gauge for the speedometer, but off to the left, we have a tachometer that can also be customized to show a bunch of different things. You'll find this in a lot of Honda products. I think almost every Honda product, at least in the modern era, has a digital screen like this for all of this added info, which is really nice to see. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our skip track, volume, home button, selector, and voice commands, and off to the right, we have our adaptive cruise control, as well as the steering wheel heater. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, and down below, we have the power door switches, rear tailgate, parking sensors, and traction control off, as well as down below, we have a parking brake and brake hold. Moving on to the door, we have 2 levels of memory seats, power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, we get our infotainment display. Nothing really too crazy here. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. We have some rear entertainment options, as well as we have our cabin watch and cabin talk. So cabin talk is basically a PA system that will help your voice reach the third row, but cabin watch is a camera that can help keep an eye on family members or pets who might be in the back seat. Very, very nice and very cool to see that here in the Honda Odyssey Elite. But speaking of cameras, we do have 3 different backup cameras that we can select from. Honda's very good about this. They make a customizable view for what you want to see. However, a downside of this is that a lot of other minivans are starting to get 360 cameras as well as SUVs. So I would have liked to have seen a 360 camera here on the Honda Odyssey, or at least a nose camera. But I'm sure that will come in the next generation. Down below, we have physical climate controls. Absolutely love that they are physical. We have dual zone climate and, of course, controls for the rear, which is great. And then we have a couple of jumbled buttons, but not too much to take on. We have our heated and ventilated seats on either side of the shifter. We have the automatic start-stop on and off, as well as snow mode, Econ button, and then our shifter right in the center. It's a little wonky to get used to if you're not familiar with Honda products, but since I am pretty familiar, it was pretty easy. Down below that, we do have USB-A, USB-C, a wall outlet, and a 12-volt outlet. So literally anything that could ever use a plug or wire will be able to be charged down here. Absolutely love that feature. And we do get some storage down below. Moving up to the center console, however, we do have cup holders, so we'll do a big friggin' bottle test, and the 2025 Honda Odyssey Elite actually fails the big friggin' bottle test. However, just a few short years ago in 2016, it passed. So the cup holders have shrunk over the last couple of years. Then we do get a wireless charger and a big openable cubby. Really, really nice to see all of the storage space here in the Honda Odyssey Elite. The seats are comfortable. They're heated, ventilated, power, and memory, and pretty much anything I would want out of a minivan seat. I think they've been comfy, they've been easy to get in and out of, and that's all that matters. However, speaking of seats, this is a minivan, so we have 2 more rows of seating. So let's go do some backseat reviews. All right, getting in the back of the Honda Odyssey Elite, of course, we do have power doors, which is pretty much standard across the minivan world, but it wasn't many years ago, so that's nice to see. Down below here, we do have 2 USB-Cs, we have 2 cup holders as well, and I can move these seats forward and back. However, in their furthest back position, it's not crazy room. The ID Buzz definitely has a roomier interior, but we have a lot of options in here that the ID Buzz doesn't get, like the sunroof and DVD player. When I was a kid, and I don't want to sound like when I was a boy, when I was a kid, you could either get a sunroof in minivans or you could get a DVD player / VHS player. And this has both. So to me, I feel like a Rockefeller right now because I can watch a DVD and have a wide open sunroof. Absolutely love that. So we do get a DVD player. Actually, I keep saying DVD player. It is not. These kids these days are so spoiled. Our seat back pockets used to be filled with 3 movies. Cars, the movie Cars, Anchorman, and the SNL's Best of Will Ferrell. That was all we watched on road trips as a kid. Just those on end-to-end, loop-de-loop-de-loop-de-loop. Now, Amazon Prime Video, Disney Plus, Netflix, Peacock. How many options do kids need? But you have the option, which is super, super nice. You also do get headphone jacks and whatnot. We have our own climate controls for the rear up to the right. So put your oldest or eldest child in this seat so they can run the climate controls, or I'm sure that's a well fought over seat in the van. We have vents in the B pillars. We have sunshades. Very important to mention the sunshades when in minivans because for newborns that is important. These are actually some nice headphones. My parents had a Pacifica when I was growing up. It was not this nice. So there we go. I can watch my TVs and movies in the back of my Honda Odyssey. Really, really love that. However, we do have a 3rd row. So let's hop into the very back. So in the very 3rd row, off to the left, we do have a USB-C headphone jack as well as our volume controls. We get a climate vent in the 3rd row. Crazy to see. We have cup holders back here as well, and these seats do recline. However, you can put them up as well, and we get sunshades for even the 3rd row. So very, very nice to see all of that. The big thing, and quite literally I mean that, I fit back here. I'm a 5'11", not small guy, and I am not struggling to fit in the back of the Honda Odyssey. That's great. A lot of 3-row SUVs, I struggle to fit into the 3rd row, but I've never struggled to fit in the 3rd row of 90% of the minivans of which I've reviewed. So very, very nice that even if you do take bigger kids around, and I view myself as a big kid, they're going to be comfortable. This is a big, big win over SUVs, but we'll talk more about that towards the end. Let's hop into the back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space because it's a lot. And then we'll talk about the looks. Actually, before we get into the back, something I just noticed is that there's a handle right here. You can pull it up, and you can actually move this seat in. So you can have the 2 back seats not only touch each other, this sort of gives a nice, easier entrance to the 3rd row if you have to get back there or something of the sort. So grab it, pull it. Absolutely love that feature. Super helpful. Right around the back of the Honda Odyssey Elite, and we do have a button back here for the rear power tailgate. nice, smooth, right back up. So I have it in the down position or the cargo position because the third row actually does slide into the floor. This was extremely helpful because, as you can see, it is terrible weather, and I had to buy a chair yesterday from the thrift store for a studio project I'm working on here on the channel, and I fit the chair in here easily. But not only that, this has tons of storage space, but it was out of the elements. It wasn't getting salt caked on it like it would have if it was in the back of a pickup truck. So very, very cool to see all of that. We do have a 12-volt power outlet over here. Love to see that, especially for camping or tire inflating. Now, to get these seats up, grab here, flip them forward, and then you pull this string. There you go. So do the same over here. Grab, pull, flip it like that. Hopefully that doesn't happen. And then you pull it, and there you go. You have your third row up, and you have a ton more storage down below. We fit 2 weeks worth of groceries in here before it even broke the line up here. So plenty of storage space, and that is a big, big perk of not only just the Honda Odyssey, but minivans in general. Come back up here. You can press and hold to set a height. So if your garage isn't super tall, you could press and hold it at like here, and it won't open up any more than that. But push the button to go right back down. Absolutely love that. Super, super helpful. Now we got to talk about the looks, and I, of course, love the look of the Odyssey. I think it is starting to show its age a little bit. It's been several years since they've updated it, and I would imagine that Honda has some type of plan to update it in the coming model years. I also like this blue. It's a nice kind of pale blue, not very in-your-face blue, but I still think it's handsome and wonderful. With all of that being said, let's get on to our final thoughts. What do I think driving the Honda Odyssey Elite for the last 7 days? Well, it's been absolutely wonderful. I love this Honda Odyssey so much. And honestly, from where it stands, if I were to buy any minivan on the market, albeit it's a rather small market, I would buy the Honda Odyssey. Why is that? Well, first of all, I really like the drivetrain. The 3.5-liter V6 is great. It's proven, it's fantastic, and I don't really think they need to update it. They should use this engine until the end of time. The Chrysler Pacifica does have the V6, but I trust that V6 less, and the plug-in hybrid adds a lot of complexity. The Volkswagen ID Buzz, it's electric. It's going to have a really short range. When I tested it, the best I could do was 200 miles. And where I'm sitting right now at a 3/4 tank of gas, I have 304 miles, and I can refill it on any corner in America. I really like the Toyota Sienna. I really, really enjoy the Sienna, but again, hybrid system. It just adds a little bit of complexity to the car that might not be necessary. I trust this drivetrain more. And past that, it has good features. It has the power doors, the folding in rear seats, the infotainment system, as well as the rear DVD player. It seems to have all the fixins that I want, but the cherry on top, the selling point, the crux is that drivetrain. I just trust it more. And if you're watching this video and you have a family and you're stuck between getting an SUV or a minivan, I want to usher you to please buy the minivan. This is going to make your life a lot easier. I know you might like to sit up higher in an SUV. You want to feel like you're above traffic. It gives you a safer feeling. I understand that. But this car sits low. It's easier to get things in and out of. It's easy to get kids in and out of. It's easier to get chairs in and out of. This car is designed to make your life easier. I know the 3-row SUVs can be really enticing. They look good. They have this 4-wheel drive, active lifestyle mantra about them. And I'm not denying that. As a matter of fact, the Honda Pilot is a great alternative to the Odyssey, but this is going to be your best option. This is going to make your life the easiest. This is the most configurable, it is the most practical, and it's just the smartest decision you can make. Unless you tow a boat, unless you tow a camper, unless you plan on doing some serious off-roading, minivan is the answer. And whoever says that minivans aren't cool just hasn't lived enough. because this might be the coolest car that you can own. Because the coolest car that you can own is the one that gets you and all of your stuff there with the least amount of headache. It might not drop jaws at Jewel Osco, but that's okay. This Honda Odyssey is great. Minivans are great. And that's what I wanted to tell you. I hope that my point has gotten across. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Honda for loaning me their Odyssey for the last 7 days. Huge thank you to Drive Shop for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle. And of course, the Midwestern Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.